Judie Lucius, or I call her Luscious, is a relatively new resident here at Epworth. I got acquainted with her because I knew she grew up in Illinois, and so did I, but in definitely different parts. She grew up on the very southern tip of Illinois in a town called Cairo. Now it looks like Cairo in Egypt, but in Illinois it's Cairo. And so Judie is here to tell us all about it and how she was and when she was a little girl growing up in that beautiful town. Here's Judie.
It's at the very tip of the state of Illinois, right between the Mississippi and the Ohio rivers. And I grew up watching the barges go up and down the Mississippi and the Ohio rivers and their levees. And one of the things they used to worry about was the rivers flooding. And if they had flooded, they would have wiped out the whole town. Fortunately, the levees were tall enough and strong enough that that didn't happen. It almost happened in not sure if it was 35 or 37, but it came very, very close. But it was a lovely little town when I grew up there, of about 15,000 people. Unfortunately, it's now about less than 1,500 according to Google. I looked up today. There were lots of racial strife in the 60s, and that caused a lot of businesses to close and a lot of people to move out, and the town really never recovered.
There are beautiful mansions there. I know that I've visited, and they're just gorgeous.
Magnolia Manor is the most famous one. It was built in sometime 1850 or something like that. I'm not sure about what year, but it was in the 1800s. That's pretty old.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful building. And it still is a historical landmark.
Yes.
To this day.
What did your father do? And tell me about your family, a little bit about your family.
My father owned a gas station. He and his business partner owned a DX gas station. And my mother never worked outside of the home. And I grew up there. My only sister was 14 when I was born. She didn't like me much when I was born because here's this cute little baby, and she was used to being the only one in the family. So here I interrupted her.
Well, tell me about high school. I know that you were probably very busy in high school.
I was a cheerleader. I was on the student council. I was class officer of one kind or another most of the time. I graduated with honors. Had lots of friends,
And that's where you met your husband, right?
My first husband, yes. That's where I met him. He was a year ahead of me in high school.
And where did you go to college?
I went to the University of Illinois, and then I transferred to Southern Illinois University to be with the man that I got married to.
Okay.
My high school sweetheart.
Okay. And then after college, you moved to...
We moved a lot of places. We lived in Arkansas, Mississippi, 20 years in Tulsa, and then we divorced, and I married Jim, who was a golf professional, and at the time he was at Southern Hills Country Club, and after a few years we moved to San Francisco. And I've been in San Francisco for the last 35 years. I've only been here for a few months.
I know.
So
I
love San Francisco. It's
had to be a big change.
It's quite a change, yeah.
Yes.
Quite a culture change from small town Southern Illinois to San Francisco. Yeah, that's a big culture change.
Well, in college you majored in business.
I majored in business.
And what did you do with that?
I eventually I taught school for 1 year, and I worked for a venture capital firm as their chief financial officer, managing their money for several years. And then I went to work as the chief financial officer for a real estate investor and developer, and managed, it was several $100 million worth of liquid assets and another couple $100 million in physical assets, real estate. So
sounds like a very busy
It was a really good job. He was a really good guy, very smart. His family was very smart and very involved. His wife and I, he has passed away. His wife and I had dinner just before I left San Francisco. So we're still friends.
Good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
So, okay, tell us a little bit about, you had a daughter with that first marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
she's beautiful, wonderful. She's been a fifth grade school teacher in Kingfisher, Oklahoma for the last 30 some odd years. She's married to, her husband Brian is the owner of I call it the little miniature Home Depot. It's called Walter Building Center in Kingfisher. They have 3 grown boys. Robert is the oldest, Will is the middle, and Sam is the youngest. Sam just got married a couple weeks ago.
I know, you've been busy.
And Will and his wife just had a baby 7 months ago, the world's most beautiful great-granddaughter.
Of course.
And Robert is getting married in a couple of months.
Well, you've got a busy calendar.
And I also have a stepdaughter and stepson, and they live in Texas. And my stepdaughter is getting married also this fall. So we've got 3 weddings this year.
Wow.
Busy.
Well, good that you're back here close by.
That's right. It's a lot easier to get to Texas from here than it is from San Francisco.
Well, tell me about the life of being a wife of a golf pro, Jim.
It's really pretty nice. We got to travel to lots and lots of places. We took lots of cruises. Jim would give golf lessons on board the cruise ships. He used to give golf lessons to the chairman of one of the cruise companies, cruise lines. And so that man got Jim a job as teaching golf on board the cruise ships. And so he would give lessons and we would travel free.
Ooh.
So we got to see lots of places. I love the Baltic Sea, the Mediterranean, Alaska, lots of places like that.
Lots of
Very
good
nice.
places.
Costa Rica, went through the Panama Canal.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard that that's one of the best things to
It's
do is
really
go through that.
quite fascinating watching the locks open and close and the ship goes through the locks. It's really fascinating to watch. Yeah.
Well, I understand that Jim also has is it a golf course named after him, or
They named their tournament, the Olympic Club named their tournament after Jim, not the golf course.
Okay. And
So they have the Lucius Invitational every year.
and that's going to be coming up.
That's going to be in October this year. That's what my grandson Robert is going out to play in. He's
And
gonna
you're
play.
going too.
And I'm going too. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I was asking you also about any favorite childhood memories, and you told me a beautiful one about your grandmother. Can you
Yeah.
tell me
My
about
grandmother, everyone called her Mamie. She didn't like to be called Grandma. And everyone called her Mamie. And every Saturday I would spend the night with Mamie. And we would go to the movies. In those days they had a double feature Western on every Saturday at the movie theater. And the movie theater was 4 blocks from her house, so we walked. And we'd go to the movies, and every Saturday I'd get too tired to walk home, and she'd pick me up and carry me until I got so big my feet were dragging on the ground. But she was wonderful, and then we'd go to bed, and I'd sleep with her. And I can remember being right up next to her, and she would read until I fell asleep. Really nice memories.
What a wonderful memory. Yes. Yes.
I loved those Saturday nights.
Yeah.
And it gave my parents time away from me and time to themselves.
And your older sister some time alone.
Yeah. She was she was 14 when I was born. So by the time I was big enough to remember much, she was gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you, I assume that probably your daughter might have had something to do with you coming back to Epworth. Can you tell me why you chose Epworth?
She picked out Epworth for me.
Okay.
I didn't pick it out. She picked it out.
Okay.
She went around to a bunch of different places and said, "Mom, I think this is the one you would like." So that's why I'm here.
Well, I'm glad you're here, Judy. I know
So far, so good.
yeah, it's a big change from California.
It's a big change from San Francisco.
Yes,
The weather is the biggest thing for me to adjust to.
yes.
I spent 20 years in Oklahoma, and I like San Francisco weather better than this.
Okay.
It never gets this hot.
Okay. Well, looking back at your life, do you have something that you think was probably, in your mind, your greatest achievement?
Probably raising the daughter that I raised, because she's wonderful, and she has raised 3 wonderful young men, and she, I don't know how you could do any better than that.
Well, that's typical, but I wanted to hear what you had to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would agree with that about the children we have. Yes.
I mean, I did a good, pardon me, I think I did a good job, at my work. I know I was good at it, and I worked hard at it. But the thing I'm most proud of is my daughter and her sons,
Well,
her family.
I can understand that. Well, I really am glad to have you here with us.
Thank you.
I am. And it will get better each day, I know.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.